snappy. I like it.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
This is great. John, thank you for hosting us today.
Pleasure.
Welcome to another episode of Car Talk. We're just at the cusp of spring, and John has offered us to test drive two of their extreme SUVs here from Alfa Romeo Maserati. So John he's the general manager at the Alfa Romeo Maserati here in Ottawa, and we have access to the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio and the Maserati Grecale Trofeo.
Correct.
So they're like the high-end of high-end SUVs from the two
Performance
brands.
SUVs,
Yeah.
performance trim levels of each SUV.
Cool, awesome. So thank you for hosting us today. So we've got the usual
pleasure.
suspects, Eric and Lucas as well.
We're so far apart today, Eric.
I know. I miss you.
strange.
I miss you.
I'm separating you
Seating.
guys for a while.
We've been naughty classmates or something. I don't know.
You guys talk too much.
Yeah.
A little too distracted. I'm kidding. But anyways, so the agenda for this Car Talk episode is we'll do a quick intro, and then we're going to head out, talk about the car, and then do a drive with the car as well and provide our impressions of these cars as well, or these SUVs. Eric's been on the hunt for a replacement SUV for a while, and I don't think you've made a decision yet.
No. Still up in the air.
Yeah, so this might be an
Might make a
intervention.
sale today, John. We'll see how it goes.
We obviously have our daily driver SUVs as well, so we're going to do our best to compare it against those as well. I've had a Macan, you've had a GLC,
Yep.
you've got the X5.
It's a bit bigger car in comparison, but still, I mean, in terms of like power
I guess
delivery and feel, it's going to be comparable in my opinion. Yeah.
You brought the Cayenne today, but it would actually be, these are comparable class to your SQ5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because these are much more powerful cars than like the Macan or even SQ5.
SQ5,
yeah.
So these are actually in the territory of like Cayenne Turbo
Yeah,
X5M, right?
So with that being said, who would these SUVs be for? Like from your perspective, from a brand perspective, who do you sell these type of high-end SUVs
Soccer
to?
moms. No, I'm just kidding. They want larger vehicles.
Well, car enthusiasts who want to drive, powerful vehicles and have the practicality of the SUV basically, and that's the buyer profile usually. And who doesn't want to drive, let's say, a 4-cylinder 2-liter engine on these kind of vehicles? They basically get 6-cylinder with over 500 horsepower, and they drive like a car. You'll drive and try yourself, and they deliver more than enough power for their size.
Both are 500 horsepower plus. I'm excited.
Yeah.
They're both essentially the same platform on both cars.
Yes, they share the same platform. They share the same subframe, let's say, and they're coming from the same plant, but they have everything else different pretty much. So.
That's like the 90-degree Neptuno engine on them, right?
They both have 2.9 90-degree V6 on Stelvio Quadrifoglio and 3-liter 90-degree V6 on Neptuno Grecale Trofeo.
Oh, so it's slightly bigger.
Same as the MC20.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The detuned engine. They both have cylinder reactivation, and you'll feel the vibration when the cars are running because of the uneven cylinders on both sides. They're kind of like rough when they are running and idling, which I like. I like feeling those vibrations when driving. So let's see how you will feel when you drive.
What are you guys looking forward to between the two cars?
I'm really looking forward to or experiencing the transmission because I think that's a highlight for me in most cars. You're not always using 550 horsepower. You're just putting around, going from like city driving or stoplight. But I think the gear changing is where you feel the car's precision. Steering, obviously, in other aspects, and braking, but I have a soft spot for transmissions. It has to be like snappy.
Yeah, cool. They're all ZF auto
They're
transit.
both ZF 8-speed.
Look forward to seeing one. And
For me, admittedly, I've never driven anything in a Maserati or Alfa Romeo brand. So I'm going to check.
Newbie.
Yeah, two
Okay.
bucket list
Impression.
items
Pop
off.
Eric's
So
cherry.
this is, yes, I will be a complete virgin
Yeah.
to this.
comes back from Vegas, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but it comes out and tells it all.
Yeah, don't tell my two kids I'm a virgin. Okay.
All right, so let's take this outside. We're going to start with the design. exterior, interior, and then we're going to do the driving impressions and take the conversation outside and in the cars. So let's get to it. So we've got the two SUVs. What do you all think?
I like them. I mean,
The Maserati
weapon.
first. From a design perspective, I think the Maserati is the clear winner.
I don't know about that.
No?
well, we'll debate that.
Well,
but
we're
let's
debating right
let's
now.
talk about the Maserati. The paint.
Yes.
That is the most eye-catching. Yeah, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but there's such a metallic flake to it. It really pops.
Yeah.
What's the paint called?
Blue Nobile.
Blue Nobile. It's
Okay.
tri-coat blue with nice blue and silver sparkles.
Yeah.
Okay. So also like carbon fiber. I mean, my
Yeah.
eye catches a lot
Yes.
of carbon fiber details. There's a rear diffuser, the side sills carbon fiber. It gives you like a performance feel looking
Yeah.
at the vehicle.
Like the side profile is one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's a nice skirt. The side skirt, how it flares out.
Yeah. And you know, even like the darker black chrome accents everywhere on the handles, like it's just they're subtle, but it's I think what elevates the finishes from this one. But you said in terms of design, you prefer this one.
Oh, yeah.
I like the design of this because it is kind of classic sporty compact SUV. This is definitely more refined and
Yeah.
more
This looks like a more premium
more
luxury.
premium finish in terms of like close up details. But I don't think this is a bad looking car at all. I think this is still works very, very well.
I agree, but if
Yeah.
I was to take one of these cars home,
Yeah.
I think I'd take the Trofeo
You might change your mind.
after the
After
drive.
driving it.
This
Okay,
is
so we're
this
just
is a
talking about
lighter vehicle.
appearances.
Just appearances,
first.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like if we were putting it to a vote, John. I know you're neutral. You can't pick a favorite child.
I don't.
If I
take
had to
any comments.
make a selection, what we know now based on appearance only, I'm with Prabul. So for me, I think the Maserati. I was just in Vegas. I saw a few of these, the Trofeos actually.
Yeah.
They look great on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're like, maybe they're not as sporty. Like you look at the hood, it doesn't have the vents on the hood, but it's just a more premium SUV luxury feel. I like this treatment better. I don't like the Alfa Romeo, the triangular
Vendetto
grill.
V grill.
Yeah.
I think it looked good when it came out 10 years ago in their lineup. I don't think
Well,
it
no,
aged well.
that's from the 80s even.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vendetto V grill, 60s, 80s.
Yeah.
Like it's a
It's timeless.
signature,
Yeah, signature.
Alfa Romeo grill.
Yeah.
It's interesting how we naturally kind of organized ourselves.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
the
we
Alfa
stood up.
Romeo crew.
You gotta
we're
stand in the middle,
Maserati.
John. John, you gotta stand in the middle. But yeah, no, I think like this to me is a much nicer.
We have to
looking
also
SUV.
consider there's a price gap between these two vehicles. So
What- yeah,
I
what
think
is-
we're pointing out the carbon trims and all these nice features on the Maserati that maybe this one doesn't have, but that also comes at a price point.
Yeah, yeah.
And the paintwork as well.
So John and Cher, that one's I think MSRP is like 99 to 138.
Yeah, and spec to spec, I would say 145 to 110, more or less.
110 to 145.
Yes. So as spec.
So
Oh, wow.
$35,000 more for this. Now, but you're getting other things with that too. And we'll probably when we get on the inside, but like the engine, you're getting more horsepower with this one.
Bigger
520,
displacement. Yeah.
523 horsepower to 505.
Yeah.
Suspension, fit
Yeah,
and
air
finishing.
ride, magnetic
Yeah.
dampers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So,
And the Trident. That's also
Of course.
something else, you know, Trident.
Yeah, you're getting more, so that there's not that $40,000 net
Difference?
difference.
30.
$30,000
Yeah.
difference is you can see it in parts and
Yeah.
offerings in the car.
I'm kind of leaning this way. You guys are leaning.
Well,
the Alfa
I'm
Romeo.
objective.
he
I'm in the
can't
middle.
put him in
I
the.
sit
So
here.
it's 2-1 for the Maserati.
I have to say, I'm not really choosing a side.
You chose a side.
No, I'm on this side of the line. But really, there's too much of a price gap to compare them directly,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Still,
I don't think it's that much. It's $30,000.
that's still quite a bit.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think people, or you go.
Yeah, but from brand's perspectives, they are not direct comparison.
Yeah.
So they are not competitors. They're not supposed to be, right? We are doing that because they're kind of cousins.
Yeah.
But one of them is more on the Porsche Macan GTS or X3M, etc. More a bit on the higher end, whereas the other one is more like, although it's more powerful, Audi SQ5 kind of.
Actually, this one is
comparison.
an X3M in comparison is about 104,
Yeah.
which is actually priced like this.
Yeah.
So that's what you're getting for X3M pricing. This is more towards Cayenne,
Almost Cayenne.
Macan
Price,
GTS.
closer to,
Yeah.
between Macan GTS and Cayenne.
Yeah.
So in terms of
as
options, the thing that
something.
makes this stand out, the air suspension, the more aggressive flares. I mean, this is aggressive too, but I don't think it has air suspension, or is that even an option?
It is an option.
Okay.
Well,
Oh.
you can get an air suspension. It comes with a magnetic dampers
Yeah.
as standard, but there are some infrastructural challenges because the car is now 7-8 years old, this design. What we can get on Grecale Trofeo is not necessarily available on Stelvio. For example, a head-up display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We cannot even get head-up display or
Right.
360-degree cameras. It's not available.
Yeah.
I have my own heads-up display.
You can do. Just watch out, people don't think you're an Uber driver or
Software
something.
upgrade. One of my favorite features on a car, the wheels.
Oh yeah.
I actually like those wheels a lot. I
Yes.
think they have a lot more depth and dynamic appearance than these ones.
Yeah.
They're not as flat looking. I totally agree that these are more elegant. These are more sporty.
Yeah.
But in terms of wheels, I choose those.
Yeah.
It's a very iconic Alfa Romeo. That's
Very.
on the 4C. That wheel design. Yeah, it's more of a statement, that
Yeah.
wheel for sure.
Okay. Which rear end do you prefer the most?
Maserati, I think, has a nicer rear end in
Yeah.
general. I
Yeah.
think it's just, it definitely looks more refined. Also, the addition of carbon, nicer. I like the more muscular quad, kind of rectangular tips. Sleeker. I think this one has a lot more things going on. It almost feels to me like it has two rear bumpers, like one being the tailgate and one being the bumper.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit more fluid with the tailgate. So, yeah, I think I choose the Maserati from the rear.
Yeah,
end
I would
perspective.
say Maserati as well. For all
Yeah.
the same thing, the rear carbon diffuser is really nice touch,
Yeah.
and the exhaust pipe. So
Yeah.
It looks more
you know,
premium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one thing I think that I like on this car, which would benefit from this paintwork, is the body line at the door handles, because this one really has no body line.
Yeah.
This one, you can see it in the sunlight.
The
It gives
shoulder.
it gives it a nice sharp, almost like hip, right?
Yeah.
Where this one is very, very rounded, more on par with the Porsche, where it doesn't have any lines. It's just rounded.
Okay.
Can I just point something? Like, I don't know why they do this. It looks like a dent,
Dot? Yes.
and I understand why. That's where you press to
Yes.
eject it. But
Well,
is it really necessary?
I mean, would you not just scratch that little area?
Yeah, that'll get more higher wear. It'll collect
Yeah.
dirt.
I mean, if you didn't have that dot, imagine your fingers going all over the place.
So do you know how I open my? Because I'm very OCD about fingerprints on paint. You want to see how I open my gas cap? My gas cap. I go like this.
He pulls out a white glove.
Oh, yeah, I know. I do the same.
No fingerprint, right? And then I close it, and then I go like that.
Well, now you have a knuckle print.
Yeah, I guess perfect.
All right.
Start it up.
Nothing exciting.
With it.
No, it does. It's so coaster a bit.
Oh, okay. After it slows down.
It won't start, by the way.
Oh, okay, so you gotta wait.
Yeah. It's gonna open the flaps now after now.
Ah. All right, let's go drive.
Whoa, is that a Ford ST? Nice.
So initial impressions, getting in. What's your take on the interior?
So
Sporty.
Yeah, it definitely has a sporty feel. Everything, the wheel, the paddles, leather dash. It's got the carbon fiber weave on the tunnel, which is it's a nice touch, right?
Doors are nicely stitched here too. Nice even armrests. It has the Schumacher paddles here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very reminiscent of every like this is the
This is a ZF, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ZF8.
Yeah. So what feedback for me? As soon as I got into this car, everything just felt familiar. Like when it came to an Audi, like the gear lever, to the parking brake, to how I go put it in drive.
Yeah.
Even the climate controls, actually, that's one thing that I miss about older, design language is the very clear and distinct climate control functions, volume function. Like they're all just at the reach of your hand without having to go to toggle through menus.
Hey,
So-
Does this have Apple CarPlay? Like
It does.
Okay, so it does. I mean, the screen is small, but
But it has all the options there. I believe it's even touchscreen. You have climate, you have all those things. I drive from BMW. They stole it, so I love it already. Yeah.
they don't want
Very
to
similar,
operate
yeah.
in the car.
Nice. I like it. Not too stiff.
No, it's good. So the setting we have it on is it's got like all the sport ignition mapping, everything like that.
Valves.
But not the suspension soft.
Yeah.
Is that how we got it set up?
So far,
Yeah.
it's drive. We're not in race mode.
No.
Yes, dynamic mode with
Dynamic, yeah.
softer dampers.
I think I prefer it that way regardless.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I'm not
driving
sure I'll be
an
using it in
SUV.
race mode too often.
Race mode basically disables the traction control.
Does it get stiffer as well for dampening?
It does get the stiffest dampers,
Yeah.
which is available only on race mode.
Yeah.
There are 3 different damper modes basically, like softer, stiffer, and the stiffest.
Yeah.
Eric almost wanted to do a jump test there earlier.
Eric's driving like Stroll here.
When you switch it to advanced efficiency, which is A,
Yeah.
then you enable the cylinder deactivation. But the car goes down to around 300 horsepower then.
So let's say we want to turn the exhaust valves off. You'd have to go into like a different mode, right?
Yes.
So let's try to put it in a comfort mode. Put it in the most comfort modes.
Is that?
There we go.
Yeah. So how do you feel in comparison, like, to the Sport?
Well, it's less responding.
Less responding?
I've got my foot mask.
But definitely, let's say you don't want the burbles and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
knot and the pops and
Left.
stuff, and more of a
Yes. Sorry.
So, in this mode, I feel less nauseous back here as a passenger.
yes.
Was it a message to Eric?
Yeah.
Too heavy foot.
Well, I think this is like a typical. Like, I mean, if you're not driving aggressively or sporty, I think this is a great mode to have, right?
So you're saying, John, that right now in this mode, it's 300 horsepower.
Around 300 horsepower cylinder deactivation. Basically, it goes on 3 cylinders when coasting, and
He's out.
I'm out.
Oh, back to nausea.
Yeah.
It feels natural, right? Like it doesn't
How
feel
about
out
we
of place.
shifted into manual mode here, Eric? There you go.
Okay, I guess we're doing a pull now, huh?
I'm gonna go.
Oh, it's snappy. I like it. Yeah.
0 to 100 between this and Grecale Trofeo are pretty much the same, although the other car is more powerful.
It's heavier.
Because, this is lighter.
First impressions behind the wheel, Lucas?
I mean, very similar to the passenger position. I mean, seats are great. They've got great support on the side. I feel like I'm always kind of picky about the ride height of the seat versus the dash, and I like this because it's like you don't feel like you're jacked up too high. You have a great perspective of the layout of the dashboard and the street. The sails at a nice height. So I like the interior actually. It feels very proportional to a driver's perspective in terms of where the steering wheel is and the location of the buttons and the height of the dash. It feels good. I like it.
Yeah. It's not a Range Rover.
I mean,
Or a Lexus.
I've never driven a modern Range Rover. I've driven the one in the past, and I didn't like it because you sit basically like so high up, even though the car is low. It just I feel like the seat is like up here, and you're looking down on
You're driving a couch.
a little bit, yeah. But I'm not sure with the new ones because I haven't driven them. So
Let's boogie woogie.
okay, I'm in drive. How do I go into race?
You need to just twist and hold.
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect.
Want
All race mode enabled,
to
guys.
change the suspension or keep it on?
This is gonna be the
Keep
first
it, we'll keep
time
it.
someone writes off
Yeah.
a car in your podcast. Probably.
Oh yeah, so remember that these are on summer tires?
Yeah.
Just
We're
a
about
heads
to
up.
shake out our dental work. Suspension setting in potable season.
Man, it sounds good.
Sounds great too. I like it. I find it sounds almost different in race mode even. I find it has more of like the
Burbles?
not burble, the snap effect
Yeah.
in lower RPMs. When Eric drove, we had to almost rev it out to have that same effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so comfort setting is definitely, I think, better suited for this car. I think it is definitely stiffer in the stiff setting. I can't see myself driving in this setting,
Yeah.
like in the dampener
race.
stiff.
Yeah,
Well, I'm still in race. I just have this dampeners to soft.
The suspension at the
Yeah.
maximum stiffness. I don't know why you make an SUV with that.
Yeah.
Because if you're serious about tracking, you're not driving an SUV.
I mean, some people would
And
beg
I
to
don't
differ.
know a country in the world, well, maybe some in Europe, where the roads would warrant having that kind of suspension.
It's great. Plenty of power in this thing. Oh, back room is nice here. I like this. This is nice.
Oh, that's the first time back there, right?
Yeah,
How's it going?
it's good. It's good. I like it. Actually, I like the way that seats are carved because it gives you like
Yeah.
that, the adequate knee space.
Ready to go. We're in race mode with the dampers.
Also, I didn't find that the vibration is that noticeable, to be honest. Once, like, when you're in driver's seat.
I think you'll notice in the 3-liter more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the back seat is surprisingly roomy.
Yeah.
I read up a little bit about this, and it said it's the smaller of the two, so I had this expectation it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And I'm not a tall glass of water, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's lots. And if you're cross shopping this to a Macan, you'd prefer this because the Macan
Yeah.
has much less.
Much
room.
less, yeah.
You know, it's surprising how direct the steering feels.
Yeah.
It feels there's no dead spot here.
Yeah.
I don't find. It's an electric steering rack as well, right?
Yes.
That's the good selling point of any Stelvio, even the regular ones, 4-cylinder ones, because they drive better than most comparisons.
Definitely a bit louder exhaust note back here. You can hear it more than in the front.
Yeah, I think and it's an exhaust note.
Yeah.
Which is what's cool about this.
Yeah. Does this come with rear climate?
3-zone.
Control,
Yeah.
3-zone.
Doesn't look
No.
like it.
So that's normal and automatic?
This is dynamic with stiffer suspension. So we put it in now softer.
But your valves are still open, so you're still in
Exactly.
sport mode.
This is personally my favorite mode and favorite combo. Dynamic with softer dampers as a daily
Yeah.
in the city. So it gives
I'm a huge fan of no traction control. That's why I would put it in a race. I find like sometimes, at least from my experience, sometimes the traction control cuts the power even though you don't feel like it's cutting it. So I prefer to be in control of that aspect, but I mean, obviously I can see where people aren't comfortable with that, so they just keep it in place.
In the winter, I think it's going to be key.
Yeah.
The story I was saying before was there was a Range Rover Evoque that was stuck in the snow. And I was like trying to figure out how to turn the traction control off, and there's no physical button for it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. If
So in this one, you just put in a full race.
yeah.
yeah. Well,
And
honestly,
mash the pedal.
Yeah, mash the pedal.
in regular Stelvio or Giulia, there is no way to turn off or disable traction control.
Oh,
It
okay.
only comes with Quadrifoglio version in the race mode.
I see.
So
Okay, at least there's a mode. That's,
Yeah.
Maybe that's the same with the Range Rover. I should have put it in like off-road.
I'm not sure that would have helped you because off-road isn't typically. I think it actually gives you a lot of assisted
it's more-
features. Yeah.
Exactly. It's more traction control, stability control.
Man, even in this mode, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Honestly, it's everything about the ride so far. It's great.
And so, talking about the interior, I'm surprised by the amount of leather that's on all the areas that you touch or see,
Yeah.
which is not the case. Like when you compare it to the SQ5,
Yeah.
the SQ5 has plastics everywhere.
Yeah, for the most part, the upper section of the car is
but
well
yeah.
appointed. Yeah, I find like there is extra sections like below the HVACs that's a bit too plasticky for me.
The door cards are
The door cards are plastic down, so and even like the leather, I'm not sure what it is, but it's more of a durable, rougher leather.
Eco leather.
It's great. I think it's great for durability, perhaps. But it's not as soft as like a Napa or something else like that's more fine, right?
Yeah.
Well, they'll see the difference, feel the difference in the Grecale Trofeo now. In terms of fit and finishing and materials, there is a bit of a gap.
Steering wheel, nice and soft with a little bit of Alcantara in here.
I actually like the mix of Alcantara and leather.
Yeah.
It's not very common. Usually you get one or the other, right?
It's carbon fiber with leather.
Or Alcantara.
Yeah.
But this one has leather and Alcantara, and you have the Alcantara kind of where you want it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
The only downside for me with Alcantara and where these are, it's just that over time it's
It's
gonna
a high touch surface, right?
Yeah, oils.
You know what, to be honest, I've dealt with both, and it's actually easier to clean and restore Alcantara than leather.
Really? Eh?
Because once leather gets shiny to a point where it's slippery, there's no going back. And Alcantara, you can steam it and have product really bring it back to life. I think most people who have a bad experience with Alcantara is one, they don't know how to clean it, and two, they don't follow a strict recipe of wash your hands after you eat anything or touch anything. If you have like any grease, any sort of oils and stuff, that's what makes the Alcantara weather and age really quickly. So.
All right. So, final thoughts on the experience with the car so far?
Great. Great performance, great steering, awesome sound, relaxed a little bit in the interior finishes department, in my opinion. But other than that, it's roomy, it's spacious, and I think accompanied by the fact that it offers options like carbon ceramic brakes is actually a huge perk. And bucket seats as well. Yeah.
Whoa.
That you can find some online, the pictures, and then add somewhere here.
Yeah. I didn't know
It looks
that.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
it looks pretty cool.
these cars are still, you can still order these cars, right? Brand new?
Yeah.
You can
Well,
still spec them?
the order books are closed as of last April, May, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are the last ones of their kind.
And was it a popular option, John, to get the carbon ceramic brakes and bucket seats?
Not really because of the price point. Depending on who drives and what they drive for. On Giulia, yes, more popular because they are more trackable or more, biased cars towards performance driving than the SUV.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still available on the SUV as well.
Yeah, I think you make the case that the brakes would be a great idea to get.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get carbon buckets in
Yeah,
an
you know what?
SUV,
I mean, for me personally, like the SUV in our household is not driven by me. It's my wife's car. She drives it to work every day. I drive it obviously on weekends, occasionally here as a family, but priority for this car is to go and drop kids at school or pick up groceries or do other runs and go to work. So as much as I'd love to have the buckets in the car, it's not a primary driver for me, and also I think it's just not as comfortable. I'm not even sure if this comes with
a hit and miss on comfort, right?
Yeah. Like long trips, even like I'm not sure about this car, but many cars with their comfort seats, they have like air conditioned seats, massage seats. So I think as a daily driver comfort level, I would opt for the comfort seats and carbon ceramics instead of, and just save the money on the carbon buckets, right?
Sounds good. All right, let's switch over.
All right.
Yeah.
Put in sport.
Eric's gonna get deaf.
Okay, I think it's better.
You think it's better?
I think it's better. To me, it's not as loud, but it's more of a refined and nicer tone. I prefer this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I like the pops and punches
Yeah.
on this one more.
Yeah, but I also find it a smoother note. But as you go higher into the revs, it actually has more substance to it. But I like this. So this
So-
wins. This wins for me.
For me-
exhaust. You
Yeah,
like this
exhaust.
more.
For me, the Alpha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, 2-1. We have a deal. So
Drive in and
exhaust,
see
we
what
give to the
happens.
Grecale Trofeo.
Yeah, I like this. It's nice. It's definitely, I think, suits the character of the car more though. If you had that soundtrack on this, I think it would be a little bit out of place almost.
Now,
This is-
John, it didn't switch over the valves to because it was already running.
It was already
previously.
running
Yeah.
on cold start, and then I switched to the sport mode.
Right.
So the valves are already open.
Let's get
Get
started.
in?
Yeah.
All right. So we're now in the Grecale Trofeo. Like first impressions, it's like stepping into the future. You've
Yeah.
got the modern screen
Yeah.
dash layout.
Nicer leather,
Yeah.
much
TV's
smoother.
yellow stitching,
Stitching.
the seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels more premium.
Yeah. The infotainment is much more current. You can really the clarity of even the pixels are better.
It's more modern. Everything's modern inside.
Yeah, we stepped into the future coming out of the Alfa Romeo.
More premium materials. The leather, like everything you touch is leather,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna get going, but we were thinking we have static. We don't know the radio.
Yeah, we stepped in here and Prabhu mentioned you have the radio on a little bit. And the first thing we did was try to find the volume control, and I found it now. looking at
I see it now.
But at first glance, I couldn't find the volume because there's significantly less analog buttons in this versus the Alfa. The Alfa had much more, touch buttons. This is basically a touch screen that incorporates all the HVAC and everything else controls into one screen. So, I mean, now we've been inspecting the car for a while. We see the volume display, but at first glance, you're kind of searching for the volume knob.
But to be fair to Maserati, and it's not an analog button, but even if the screens go away, it's still
there, yeah.
right?
And it's actually pretty smooth.
Yeah, the haptic feedback gives you that nice feeling of pressing a button, which is nice.
Yeah.
Question now:
Yeah.
how do you put this in drive?
Well, I just when I found the volume, I accidentally found this is unusual.
It is unusual.
It doesn't feel like a performance vehicle when you it feels like a
like a HVAC control.
I don't know, probably you might have some B-roll of this, but you have a park, reverse, neutral, and drive manual button.
Yes.
An actual button that you press.
Is this
Not shift.
is this a very Stellantis feature, you think?
That's what
Yeah.
As I think about it, it's a very Stellantis thing to do.
See, I drove this before, and I drove a couple of weeks ago, right, or maybe a month ago, and I sat back in this yesterday. I still couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
It took me a minute. I forgot about it. And then now it's like,
But mind you, that's I think first
muscle
impression.
and
Yeah.
it's muscle memory from every other car you've ever driven. It's been a lever
Or a stock or something. Yeah.
But remember the knobs when they first came out?
Yes.
It's now they're transitioning into this kind of just button kind of gear selectors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just a matter of time to get used to it. We'll get used to it eventually.
Okay.
All right, so let's go gas
Let's
up.
go get gas and hit D for drive, R for radio, or no. D for drive.
Which one are we in?
I don't know.
Sport?
I'm driving sport right now.
Yeah.
So this one
you
definitely.
feel-
This one has definitely more vibration.
it sounds much nicer in here too.
Yeah. No, overall, the much nicer place to be in, obviously. And people always kind of forget about the interior when they're car shopping and look at the exterior. But interior is where you spend literally all of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're driving around the city or talking to someone on the phone or even just enjoying the drive, you're enjoying it from the interior, not the exterior, right?
Yeah. See, for me now, all of this, like for that extra 30 grand, I could justify that.
Yeah, it is justified a little bit.
The signal sound is a bit unusual. It sounds very tinny.
Oh yeah.
Did you hear that?
I agree. The Alfa had a nicer dampened.
Wait, did it come
signal.
out of a Jeep or something?
I'm not sure.
Or a Dodge?
I don't
Nope.
recognize.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It's also quite
cannot answer.
quite important to notice that Tim Hortons has now changed to the pink layout on their exterior cladding. I'm not sure what's up with
I
that.
think it's just washed out, man.
Yeah?
I don't think they painted it.
Maybe.
They forgot to add
You guys
saturation.
may not be able to see, but it does have heads-up display.
Yes.
Okay. Which is actually, to me, a very critical feature in a car. And luckily, I have it, even like I have it in my BMWs, I have it in my GMC Denali, which is a huge perk in a truck. And I've gotten so used to it that it's almost weird driving without it, to be honest. I think the Porsches have still yet to come up with that display option.
It's not as I haven't seen the new ones yet, but
Yeah.
the older generation they had them, but they were not very high res.
No. I'm not a fan of these buttons, to be honest. No matter how much I get used to it, I just find they're not as reassuring when you put it a lever like
I almost feel like I have to press it twice.
Yes. So when we were
Press it
stopped,
once. I press it twice.
you're right.
Right?
You had to
Press park. Press park.
You need to press a bit harder.
Okay, so press it.
Put
Press
some
this
muscle
hard.
into it.
Okay, press it once hard. Okay.
Okay.
Almost like a bit
So
of
it's almost like you have to be careful before you get out of the car because it might still be in drive.
Yes, actually, that's a quite common mistake, or until people get used to it, they assume that they put it in the right gear, but they don't.
Yeah. Obviously, it's worth mentioning there is a little bit more vibration in this opposed to the Alfa, in terms of like just standing drive position.
That's the 90-degree 3-liter V6
Yeah.
characteristic.
Yeah.
Red light camera reported ahead.
How's the drive so far?
The wheel feels thin. It's funny. The Alpha wheel feels a little more premium.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty thin. It's just not just leather, but it doesn't have the Alcantara.
It's a smaller steering
excellent.
wheel, I think.
It's
right?
a smaller steering.
That's
Yeah.
part of the reason why.
So pretty much the same steering wheel on Gran Turismo, new Gran Turismo, and MC20. They changed the buttons here and there. MC20 is more plain, but Gran Turismo has identical steering wheel basically.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the feel like
We'd go
I'm
left
not
here.
going to suggest that you can feel the extra weight, but I will say this feels just more solid of a car.
Yeah.
And it could just be other areas of refinement, suspension.
This is on air suspension.
Air suspension.
Yeah. Yeah, I think suspension, especially coupled with air and dynamic like dampeners, it really does firm it when you need it to be firm and softens it when you need it to be soft. And the comfort level, I think, is just unmatched. I've purchased cars with static suspension in the past, and now when I'm looking for an SUV, I'm actually looking for air suspension.
Whoa, I like that from the back.
Yeah?
That's more blippy.
Yeah.
So I'm in sport mode, not Corsa.
You are in sport mode, not Corsa. If
Yeah.
you want to twist the knob on your right hand side, now
Okay,
you're
now
in
I'm in
Corsa.
Corsa.
Oh,
Let me try this then. It doesn't feel as snappy as the Alpha.
Now switch it to manual if you want.
Okay. Is
Make
that
sure
pushing
you're
the
in the
button?
right gear.
Am I pushing?
Yeah, you can just press on that one.
Okay.
Now you're in paddle mode.
pretty good.
I find it feels faster from my seat.
Same here.
Yeah. Eric?
I feel like the Alpha was
faster?
I mean, that's normal passenger bias that you feel. Like you're going
I mean, but
faster
I'm
because you're
comparing
on
it from
control.
both drives, this one
Yeah.
and that one. I just find this one is a bit
I've
quicker.
improved my driving skills. since
Maybe.
the moment.
Yeah.
I didn't miss the shift there.
Yeah, that's why.
None of my cars have heads-up display. I'm realizing how much I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Especially with
Yeah.
with Corsa
It's great.
mode.
Honestly, it's a great
You
feature.
got your RPMs.
Yeah. And I mean, now I'm not sure about this one, what you're seeing, but you get navigation ahead warnings, you get Waze warnings, you get sounds. If you want to change your tracks with the steering wheel, it shows you what song you're changing to. So there's so many pros to having head-up display, in my opinion.
Shifts are
It's
nice.
the same transmission as the other, right?
Yeah, but the
setup-
software
Tuning is
probably
different.
is
Yeah, it's
different.
different,
It's tuned.
but
I'm not as nauseous back here.
This is definitely a better ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can definitely feel the air suspension under acceleration.
Yeah.
It is more. It is softer. Personally, I prefer this type of ride.
Over the non-air suspension ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just maybe it's because I'm 40. I don't know.
Hey man, this is a daily driver SUV.
I mean, that's the whole point of this thing, right? Like, if I wanted, like, I mean, I'm not saying my M3 is an exception because it's stiff as hell. It's static. It's performance oriented, but that's what you want out of that kind of car. This is not the car you want that in, right?
So like that is what I got really out of this car. The high resolution backup cameras.
Yeah.
Compared to the Alpha, it's so it's such a tiny little screen. I can't see what's going on.
Yeah.
And
Well-
John, this does not have the CCB brake option in this
It
car.
does not. No.
See, this is the only thing. If this had CCB options, man, this would be the thing I would be going after.
That would be really cool. Really cool feature.
You smell a little bit of exhaust or
smells.
brake
It's
note
good.
there.
Nobody pushed it before, probably. Now.
Hey, you guys smell that?
Yeah, I smell
Yeah, a
it.
little bit.
Yeah.
It's been
It- you-
used.
It was a virgin vehicle. Now you.
I guess
How
so.
many kilometers on this car?
Quite a bit, but it was.
They weren't touched by the Thor hammer,
More of
so.
a
So impressions before you get out, sitting in
You
here compared to the Alpha.
a nicer ambient feel in this car, and I'm actually a sucker for interiors because I like when I chose my last X5, I made sure I had Alcantara and full leather and carbon because those things are what make me feel better in the car.
Yeah.
and give you a better.
Compared to the Alpha, this has a nicer headline. Or what did we say? This
This is almost like a microfiber.
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
it's not
Micro
Alcantara,
suede?
but
Micro
it's
suede?
but it's better.
It's almost like suede.
Yeah, it's just nicer than typical fabric, but it's not quite Alcantara. It's almost like an in-between material.
It's
Yeah.
nice, regardless.
Also confused by the gear selection
Gear
here.
selector.
It's just a reaction, the thing
So
that
what is
we
this?
do.
Get brake 70%.
That's
It shows your brake gas, like accelerator ratios.
Hit
also
the vehicle
see
button.
when I press brakes, I'm 100% applying,
Yeah.
89.
or I guess we're still moving. I don't know. I guess yeah. But when I let go, it goes to 0.
Hit the vehicle button on the display. Performance.
It has drag racing measurements and a bunch of other
Okay,
things.
turbo.
You can
Oh,
basically
drag race.
yeah, and it automatically
Oh,
see it's ready.
Jesus.
It automatically.
Okay, let's keep it in
measures.
It's recording. Everything. Yeah.
Every time you stop and go, it records.
Let's see if you put in a good 0 to 100 time.
Okay, we'll have
Let's
to have
see.
it. We'll have to have it
Let's
stop
do it.
somewhere. I like the way it moves. Feels good.
Steering is nice and direct.
Yeah, it's quite responsive still, but
The low-
For adults.
also I think it's. I mean, this is also we didn't mention this in the Alpha, but no creaks, no
Yep.
movement. It's
Yeah.
very very solid inside.
And you would feel that on
Yeah.
these Ottawa
Yeah.
roads, you know, after the spring thaw.
I think this is a great value proposition. That must make you feel good, hearing the positive feedback about the brand. Like none of this is scripted, right? We're just giving our honest opinion,
Which
on
I
the car.
appreciate, and
Yeah.
that's why I prefer to stay quiet and listen to your feedback.
John had confidence in the car to do all the talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a used Grecale Trofeo. What's the used price? That was the 135 or whatever was the used price of the car.
So this is a 2023 model year. So it's a 2-year-old car. When we check the market for similar mileage, similar spec cars, they are between $100,000 to $112,000, $115,000. So
But this is a very nice used example. I mean, it's other than it being a bit dirty on the brakes and the hubs, it looks like interior is brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well cared for.
Yeah.
John, and what is the Maserati warranty? Is it 4-year, 80,000?
4-year, 80,000 kilometers. Yes.
So just to be clear, John, this car is for sale currently.
It was a lease return. It is a lease return. It is for sale currently.
For sale, Eric.
I have a brand new one, for example, almost the same spec,
Yeah.
140-ish.
Eric's looking for a deal, so this is a perfect.
And
opportunity.
I mean, this car with what's the mileage? 16,000 kilometers on it, 17,000 kilometers on it in 2 years.
actually in great shape.
One,
for
one
that
and a half
mileage, too,
years,
yeah.
whatever.
It's not bad.
It's actually like the car looks. I didn't know it was used, to be honest. I
Yeah.
thought it was new.
This particular car comes with prepaid maintenance. Normally, new generation Maseratis, they don't. This was kind of the first edition, and
So you're getting oil and filter.
yeah, all pre-scheduled maintenance on this particular car.
Okay.
So essentially, there's about 2.5 years or 3 years worth of warranty.
Warranty, yeah, left. Yeah.
No cost driving.
No cost. Yeah, exactly. That's actually not a bad deal. What are the lease rates like now?
For brand new ones, 2024s, if the stock available, 2.99 interest rate on lease, and 2025s are 3.99. It's still quite impressive.
Yeah. I am.
Honestly, you can improve on your 0 to 100 time.
So I saw a 0 to 160. I have to go back.
And they usually go somewhere around $2,000 a month for lease, which is also not too bad comparing to, compared to what you get.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you one thing that I do not like. I don't like the gloss black indicators and stocks.
Yeah.
I think I would prefer them in a matte finish just because those are really high wear items.
items, yeah.
Can you PPF them?
I mean, you can PPF anything.
Yeah. That might be one way to address that, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard to. I mean, for me, I would say like the flaw or lack of options is the carbon ceramic brakes. If that was an option on this car or something similar,
But you know
Do you
what?
just feel that way because the Alfa Romeo has it?
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
But you know what? We asked John about that and how many people actually chose those options in the car, and he said not many. So do you think that's for us maybe it's important, but for most clientele, I don't think it's that important, to be honest.
But here's the thing, though. So the Alfa Romeo, maybe that was not the right car to have that option.
Yeah.
But on a Maserati at this level,
I think it's more for example, my X5 M60. I chose options that I wanted, and I'd want CCBs, and it didn't have an option, right?
Yeah.
So that's if it was me buying that car and it had the option, I would definitely check that box. Because now I'm looking at the aftermarket.
Yeah, you're looking at aftermarket.
I'm looking at CCB rotors and trying to retrofit something on the car because I am keeping it for a long time, and I don't like the rusted brake look after a wash and whatnot, right? So for someone like myself, or maybe even you guys, you would check that box. But for I think 80% of the clientele, I don't think they care. Wait, it has yellow
Depending on the
calipers?
purpose.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
true.
Red, yellow, whatever.
What about surface coated brakes? That's at
I
the
mean,
bare minimum.
I'm not picky whether it's ceramic or surface coated, as long as there's no rust on the rotor, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's allergic to rust.
Yeah.
All right, let's before we get out, final impressions on this car, and we'll go inside.
I much prefer this over the Alfa. At first, I was kind of torn between the two because of just exterior design, but this definitely outweighs.
And I know this is more money, so you expect a premium, but I would still, for $100,000 vehicle,
Yes.
I would still expect less plastics.
Yes.
And such on
because
the
again, 100,000 is you're comparing that to an X3M.
Right.
An X3M has, I think, more for that price than that one. So I think this is the better value car. You get a lot more stuff. You get a nicer interior than the X3. You get a lot of nicer features, and you have more power. It's great value in my opinion.
That's awesome. Let's go inside, and then we'll conclude.
There we go.
Oh, all right. So that wraps up our, test drive and experience with the two cars. What are your thoughts? Final thoughts?
Well, I think we put it through the exterior. Two out of three of us agreed the Maserati for the win. The interior, again, probably the Maserati. I think we were unanimous.
All of us, I
three
think,
for
are on the
three on that.
Maserati page.
We started off with kind of 50. Well, I mean, John was a bit neutral. He can't really take sides, but you guys, it was a split in a way. You guys were leaning towards the Alfa Romeo. For me, the Alfa Romeo exhaust note was a bit more sportier sounding for me. The Grecale was a little bit muted, relatively. But then I think that 3-liter displacement gives it that oomph.
Yeah.
We're talking 2.9 and 3 liter. I don't know if it's noticeable. I think he had the benefit of, with the Alpha, we had the cold start, right?
Yeah.
And the Grecale was already warmed up.
But driving in the vehicle, I personally prefer the Maserati note. I find it's a little bit. I think you may like the sport note at first, but as a daily, I think you might find it a bit annoying if you're in sport mode. I can see myself turning it into comfort mode more often in the Alpha and keeping it in sport full time in the Maserati. Yeah.
I thought the ride in the Maserati was a bit nicer. Air suspension. The that you didn't feel every single pothole
Yeah.
in Ottawa right now, which is saying a lot.
Yeah. So if you were to pick one of these to take home, which would you take?
I had to take the Maserati in blue.
The one
The
behind us?
Intenso blue.
That blue is really nice. I like it. It's
Yeah.
also very similar to my car, and I just like that hue of blue.
Well, that blue that we drove is also nice. The flake in it was.
It is. The flake is nice. John mentioned there's a premium on the paint. I just don't find a high maintenance dark paint is worth it to me as a daily driver. Is that blue a standard color? Or is it?
It is a standard color. It is blue Intenso.
Intenso blue.
Standard.
Yeah.
Give me the paperwork.
Hey, let's sign it right on the
Not be
podcast
undersold.
right now.
He's walking out today. I agree with Lucas. I would also, if I had to choose between the two, I would pick the Maserati Grecale over the Alfa.
So from a practicality perspective, I mean, obviously there's the room, interior room, the usable space, the trunk space, the seating, the leg room, all of that. I think they're equal.
I think they both met the bill. Yeah, I was expecting the Alfa to be. It is a smaller interior cabin, but it's still plenty big, and especially for a guy with two younger kids, there'd be no problems for any of us.
I agree.
So what sort of so from an aesthetics, from a quality perspective, the ride perspective, we prefer the Grecale. Now, when it comes to buying one, obviously we talked about 30 grand premium over the Alfa Romeo. Is that a big factor in your decision making now?
Well, it would only if you didn't think you were getting value for that 30 grand. But I think the Grecale differentiates itself at least in the 30, at least by $30,000. Interior finish, drive refinement. One thing we didn't talk. You mentioned the word aesthetic. One thing we didn't talk about was on the exterior of the Alfa. You've got the clover.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the Scuderia shield for Alfa.
Yes.
And so I did a bit of homework. I don't like. I would be honest. I don't like it. But I understand it's a pedigree. 1923. One of the drivers painted it on the car. They won that race, and so it's been in sort of a standard. Since that time. But I don't know if I think it can cheapen not cheapen the car, but I don't love the look of it.
But you also feel the same way about the fenders on the Maserati, the three grill.
No, I would just black out the Trident.
He's just a hard person to please.
I am very picky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that it's funny you bring that up because those are some of the quirks about Alfa Romeos that I think you said this before. Alfistis,
Yes.
they're the Alfa Romeo fans. They have a term for it to be one of like an alcoholic.
Is that what it's
type
called? An Alfista?
Yeah.
Alfisti.
I'm an Alfista.
They would of course, they would aspire to have a car. Is that the Quadrifoglio? Is that the four-leaf clover?
Four-leaf clover.
So that's also a very distinctive factor when you're on the road. The car's passing by, you see the clover, shield Quadrifoglio.
Yeah.
There's no mistake in that car on the road. You know that you're driving a 500 plus horsepower car, right?
Actually, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything unique about the
Aesthetics.
Yeah, to differentiate the Trofeo.
Yes.
I didn't know what to see. I mean, physically, I know what to look for.
Yes.
Well, you have the rear, the carbon fiber diffuser side skirts.
Mm-hmm.
That's over the base or less premium one.
Yeah.
And the bigger wheels.
It's more like if you know kind of difference.
Right.
As
Yeah.
well. Like you can check the quad exhausts and the rear diffuser, front carbon, splitter or the side skirts.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones they differentiate. And there is a little Trofeo script on the front fenders.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yes, there is nothing else that differentiates Trofeo from the outside.
And let's keep in mind, these are family SUVs. They're not boy racer sports cars. I don't need it to have stickers and badges.
Well, I take stickers.
I know you do. You, Mr. Stickered up 911, but some of us are a little more understated.
It's him and Terry, the only ones in the group.
Yeah.
I was debating on stickers for the tires too.
Are you going to do a window
don't.
banner? He's going to do a window banner.
Please
Abul Racing.
Listen, the ultimate niche is the tire stickers. Please no.
That's funny. All right. Final question to you to wrap this up. You've been in the market for so long. You've now had a chance to drive the two pretty nice SUVs from Alfa Romeo and Maseratis now. Would you consider this, and would Lydia take one of these?
Well, so I would consider it for sure. and I wouldn't even pretend to guess what Lydia would consider because I don't know. She would look at it and it would be a very subjective decision on her part whether
Yeah.
she liked the look of it. She could surprise us and say, actually, the Alfa Romeo, I love the look of that.
Yeah.
And that is 100% her decision matrix would be the look of it.
Yeah.
And then she might follow up with like, how fast can I go in it? Because she has a very heavy foot. Those are very here two decision points. So.
Okay, so what I'm
As
hearing,
fast as Waze tells you.
so what I'm hearing is there's like a follow-up drive session with.
Maybe we
with
should
Lydia.
get Lydia in behind the wheel and see what she thinks.
Well, there you go. Well, let us know how that turns out. Maybe we'll wrap it up. Do you have anything you want to add?
Thank you very much for you all coming here, spending time in these cars in the showroom, trying them out, sharing your honest feedback. I really appreciate that. It's good to see car enthusiasts in the store coming and doing this kind of comparisons.
Yeah.
I think we should do this more often on different cars, different brands.
Yeah.
And summer is around the corner. I think we are going to spend more time doing
Yeah.
these things.
We'll come back with the MC20.
Yeah, there you, go.
there you go.
It's sold.
Okay.
Oh,
It's not here no more.
We can bring another one, a new one. No
Awesome. Well,
worries.
Jane, thanks for having us out, John. This is a great.
It was a
thing
great
for us.
experience. Yeah, and actually, it's a great introduction to just Maserati as a whole because neither of us were very familiar with the car. We were when we were growing up. I still remember the Quattroporte, the big V8
Yeah.
sound, and that was kind of like how I knew Maserati, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think the V8s are coming back for Maserati.
Time will tell.
Yeah,
We'll find out.
Yeah.
well, hopefully. Maybe there's some insider info, No kidding. But hey, we'll wrap this up then. I hope you all enjoyed this episode of, I guess, car talk, drive-in talk. We'll do this more, like John was saying. We'll try to get to other brands as well. So thank you once again, John, for hosting us at Alfa Romeo Maserati in Ottawa. If you want to check out these cars, definitely head out this way and check them out. These are in stock at the moment, right? So available for you to test drive it as well and experience what we experienced. So with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you all for your time as well, obviously, getting up early in the morning. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.